Now impersonating you would have been difficult simply because we knew Unit would become involved.
Stop, apes! I am Chuck, leader of the shelter, and I...
Doctor!
So apes will help us, will they, Chuck?
Oh, Doctor.
Oh, Liz. No. I'm so sorry. So very sorry.
Since when have we had armed guards and tunnels in this country? I thought I was in East Germany for a moment.
It's to stop any unwary ramblers from wandering into the hills.
You mean the place we're going to is built inside these hills? But how? What exactly is this place?
Okay, Sir Marmaduke. Brief history lesson coming up. Why was UNIT set up?
I don't know. I wasn't aware of it until a few years back, after that business with the electronics firm with dodgy components in their wirelesses.
Radios, Sir Marmaduke. Do try and keep up with the times. But that's by the by. What do you believe UNIT does?
I suppose it deals with things outside of the regular military's purview. Alien invasions, extraterrestrial infections, the paranormal, people with extrasensory powers, that sort of thing. I only really know because people we treat at the Glasshouse. It's just a job for me, a service I provide. I don't investigate that much.
Oh, rubbish, Sir Marmaduke. Why did you abduct the policewoman from Hastings? To continue your feud with Lethbridge Stewart, perhaps? Or because you knew she was connected with the reptile people whose previous victims you had cared for?
What would I want with reptile people?
A good question. We wondered that for a long time. Even Ciara and Kellyan here couldn't find that out. None of my agents at the Glasshouse could work it out. Shall I tell you what I believe?
I'm sure you will anyway.
True. I think you believe that she would lead you to these reptile people. Units Silurians, or whatever they're known as colloquially. I think you believe that if you had one at the Glasshouse, you could begin to set up some kind of indispensable repository of... let's lump it all together as alien paraphernalia. You'd go in after a unit operation and clean up, gather the spare part, and sell them to the highest bidder. I believe you already have contacts, especially where UNIT, as a United Nations subdivision, has no jurisdiction. Behind the Iron Curtain, perhaps? Or the Middle East? Somewhere where the leaders would hope to upset the balance of power.
I see.
Now we're entering the hangar where we store many of these artifacts. See that probe over there? We got that shortly after the British space program was abandoned. With James Quinlan's death and Professor Cornish's retirement, the government put the whole thing into limbo. They're looking at moving part of it down to Devonshire in Oxfordshire, out of the prying eyes of the public. But until then, we have their cast-offs.
I understand that everything is prepared, sir. The woman is in the laboratory with the two science people. We have also had a report from our agent on the HR project.
Go on.
She reports that the targets are on a channel island known as Lythe. Mr. Bailey decided that it would be inadvisable to send a force in because it would be difficult to avoid alerting people on the other island. Traffic to and from Lythe is infrequent enough to draw attention.
Fair enough. What is his proposal?
He sent some men down to small marshes to wait in case the creatures returned to the mainland that way. He thought it safe to assume they would stick to familiar routes.
Probably right. Okay, I'll review the situation later. Let me know if our agent contacts us again.
Yes, sir. Need anything else, sir?
No, thank you, Mr. Lawson. Oh, and Mr. Lawson, has anyone exercised the Stalker recently?
Not recently, sir, no.
Tell Bailey it will be going for a run sometime later today. I don't want it getting idle.
No, sir. Very good, sir.
Now, where was I? Oh, yes. You asked what this place is. This is the vault. How can I put this? A sideline of C-19. The sort of sideline that, should he be aware of it, would cause the likes of Sir John Sudbury to have a coronary. You see, I already do what you were hoping to. The vault takes up 8 levels per hill. 2 hills, 16 areas of research, storage, and development. plus a few outlying areas where some of our more interesting experiments live. Look down there. Not everything here is extraterrestrial in origin, Sir Marmaduke. Those men are building new computers, using man-made technology from a supercomputer built during the 60s.
Wotan? My god, I thought that was destroyed.
Oh, rest assured it was. But here at the Vault, we're very interested in any kind of artificial intelligence. Especially an accidental one like that. Imagine the possibilities of an AI that could run businesses, administer hospitals and schools, and, of course, the government. No need to feed it, water it, or give it sleep. That's something we're working towards. Basically, we go in after Unit has done its job. We collect the dead, the detonated, the inanimate, and the unusual. We strip away the ruined computers, the deactivated weaponry. Ostensibly, it is all to be destroyed, incinerated under the Brigadier's strict orders. But what no one at Unit, or the main part of C-19 knows, is that it all comes here. We sift through it, cannibalize anything interesting, and store the rest. Nothing is disposed of. This area is devoted to flora. Every day, millions of particles of dust enter our biosphere from outer space. Most of them are so microscopic that they are untraceable and irrelevant. But some attach themselves to plants on the planet's surface, causing interesting mutations. Did you know, Sir Marmaduke, that last winter, 18 people in Western Australia died after eating what appeared to be normal local fruits? They contained, however, appallingly high levels of mercurial dioxide, an element unknown to occur naturally on Earth. Over in that far corner is a new strain of the Venus flytrap. As you can see, it is large enough to catch a rabbit or a small dog. It grew in someone's garden in Rhodesia a couple months back. A unique specimen which, it has to be said, has created quite a stir in the botanical circles. Among those who are aware of it, anyway.
This is obscene, you know.
Obscene? In what way is it more obscene than that which you were planning? Or is it just we've already done it, and on a scale, with resources, you could only dream about?
We were working towards something similar, I grant you, but we were nowhere near this audacious or secretive.
Pish and tosh, Sir Marmaduke. You had Peter Morley and his team working day and night on experiments that none of them guessed the end result of. Well, almost none.
How do you know about Morley? Was he one of your spies?
Good gracious, no. I wouldn't have employed anyone who was that big a security risk. The man is a positive liability. No stomach for what he was doing. But a genius, I have to say. Quite useful to me now.
So he's here then?
Yes. Under protest. Come through to the next area and he'll tell you all about it. I think it might interest you.
Hello there, Liz.
Do I know you?
Oh, yes. You know me as the Doctor. We work together. We are friends.
Oh, right. So how come I don't recognise you properly then?
Ah, that's a bit difficult to explain. I've put you in a trance.
Well, that's a friendly way to act, I must say.
If it helps, I don't like the fact that I've done it.
Can't say I do much, but presumably I had no option. I recognise this place. Why?
It's where we first met. At Unit's temporary headquarters in central London, before we moved to Priory Mews in Dedham. I spoke to you in Delphon, remember?
Ah, it's all coming back now. Okay, so why the trance?
It's an old Tibetan trick. It slows your metabolic rate right down to the bare minimum. You're still breathing, but only just. And this discourse we're having is your brain, needing to keep busy, latching onto the telepathic connection I've tried to establish with you. Simple, really.
Isn't it just? But why?
Ah, that's the tricky bit. I hope you can cope with this. Of course you can. You're a very strong woman.
Yes, Doctor. But as scientist to scientist, let's dispense with the archaic flattery and talk sense. Please?
All right. Liz, you've been shot.
As in by a gun? As in bang?
As in bang.
So I'm not dead yet? I never liked the colour of these walls.
When we get back, I'll get Lethbridge Stewart to repaint it.
Oh, so I am going to get back then. My mother once told me that everyone has a star, Doctor, and when that person dies, their star vanishes from the sky. When my grandmother died, Mother took me outside to the back garden. She pointed up at one of the stars, a faint one that was twinkling. That's Nana's star, she said. It's marking her death with respect, as we all should. In the morning, the star will have gone, having collected Nana and taken her to heaven. And no matter how often I looked that next evening, I couldn't see that star anymore. I think I still look for it today, if I'm out late, or working here late. Not consciously, but when I look at the stars I think of Nana and all the wonderful things she told me. You'd have liked her. She was your type.
Oh? And what type is that, Liz?
Oh, I don't know. She knew lots of things, and when she didn't have the answer, she'd make one up that sounded exactly right.
We'd have got on like a house on fire. Funny thing, the subconscious. Here I am in your mind, your memories, and yet I'm holding my triaction Zeiton regulator, and it's fixed. Ever since I was exiled here, the TZR has needed repair, but I've never managed it. Something to do with the block the Time Lords put on me. Thank you, Dr. Shaw. When we get back, I now know how to repair it.
Is my star twinkling right now, Doctor?
Now, Liz, we're both scientists. We know what makes stars twinkle. We also both know that those sorts of questions cannot be simply answered. When I go back to the real world, it'll be up to you to help yourself through this. I can try and save your physical body, but your spirit needs to be strong too. Your body has gone through a massive trauma as a result of this wound. That shock has caused your subconscious to retreat to a level where we can communicate like this. You need to reintegrate yourself with your conscious mind in order to survive.
But do you think I will?
I don't know, Liz. But I certainly hope you do. We still need to get to know each other properly.
Doctor? Where have you gone? Doctor?
Communicating telepathically. The slab is on as hot.
The rock absorbs and distributes the planet's natural warmth. It is the same principle that heats the whole shelter. Paul reasoned that apes need a lot of warmth.
Then I must thank him. He's right. Liz needs to be kept warm. These web twine clothes are made of a fascinating material.
One of our major discoveries. The apes have yet to synthesize anything similar. It has staunched her bleeding and should help to heal the wound. It is semi-organic, this version carrying a form of antiseptic through its strands. We can adapt it to carry anything we need. Heat, light, even antibiotics.
It's alive?
Sort of. Red blood. I'd forgotten your blood was that bright. I believe she will live. No vital ape organs were damaged. One lung has a slight tear along it, but it didn't break the whole tissue. She will be weak for a while. You and this ape are fond of each other. You are bonded, perhaps.
We are friends, nothing more.
Nevertheless, I can sense your pleasure at her survival. Apes give off very strong pheromones in such situations. As a scientist, I am always eager to learn new things.
Your newfound compassion does you credit, Baal.
Do not mistake scientific interest for compassion, ape. My study of your companion is purely for the purposes of survival. Ours rather than hers. It suits our purpose to keep her alive. His presence no longer suits us, however. If Auggi were to find him, it would be difficult to explain his condition. Tani has agreed to take the both of you back to the mainland where she found you both. After that, here's your responsibility, and then you will return. Alone.
But why?
The one she arrived with, the other female. She wounded Kruger and murdered Chuck. She also deliberately shot your friend with her projectile weapon. Crude it may be, but it is effective. This can only mean that someone knows we are here. Someone who wishes to stop my work. I cannot let that happen. Your return will ensure our safety.
And how do you reason that? What makes you think I won't return with armed soldiers to wipe you all out?
You think I am a fool because I am rather single-minded in my attempts to save my generation, don't you, ape? You're wrong. I listened to what you said about your role in Octel's shelter. Unlike my mother, I do not see war as the only answer. But if such strategies please her and keep her away from my real work, I will not interfere. You said you tried to make peace, and I believe you. Chuck believed you for all the good it did him. We are both scientists, Ape. We both long to increase our knowledge, to expand our horizons. I will protect your friend here. You will return to aid me with my researches. I have a list of things I need you to bring back. Tawny would not understand them by herself, or know where to get them from. Here is a list. Tawny will translate our script.
And what's to stop you doing what you did to Mark and Liz?
Your Liz is mature. This was a hatchling, and its internal chemistry was still in a state of flux. That was what I needed to explore to try and integrate with our physiognomy. Liz is useless to us as anything other than hostage to ensure Tawny's safe return. I don't know if your science can help this ape hatchling, nor do I care particularly. But nevertheless, I hope he survives. As a scientist, I would not wish to be thought of as a murderer.
You know, Ball, you are a very good scientist. Remarkable, in fact. But you will never be a great scientist, a true scientist, until you stop regarding everything you do as justified, whatever the cost. A true scientist always remains, if you'll excuse the pun, humane. Mankind's history is littered with the dead bodies of scientists who forgot or ignored their moral responsibilities. I hope I don't return to find you added to them.
This way, Ape. Auggi is in the council chamber asserting her authority. We must leave now. Our only means of escape is a battle cruiser this way. Just around this corner, Doctor. What are you doing? No!
Is he dead?
I don't know. He was already injured, and I don't care. He isn't one of us, isn't a hybrid. He isn't or wasn't going to die within the next few years because of other people's meddling.
I thought you were all very proud to be hybrids.
Yes, well, Baum and Auggi would like us all to be, but frankly a majority of us would rather they hadn't bothered having us. What's the point of living only a few years?
That rather depends what you do with them. You'll have to forgive my lack of concern for your well-being. But if Mark there is the end result of your researches, then you deserve all you get. At least you'll have a life. You destroyed his.
Surely your science can repair him.
Repair him? I don't even know what Baal did to him. I assume it was some kind of DNA splitting, but this planet hasn't developed sufficiently advanced methods to restore him.
We only want to survive.
No one on Earth would criticize you for that. It's just your methods that need some restraint.
Come in.
Wildman? Kathleen Wildman? What are you doing here?
I work here, Sir Marmaduke. I have for about 3 years, even before I went to Cambridge.
I convinced Sir John to select her for your Glasshouse project. You see, Ms. Wildman has been exceptionally useful in feeding me tidbits of information. Actually, that's not true. To be honest, she's given me every security code, every top-secret classified unit-initialed piece of paper that she could lay her hands on. It was Kath who passed Ciara and Kellyan much of the information that I required.
You betrayed me? What about the others?
No, I betrayed them too, sir. You may be pleased to know that our agent following up the leaks from Whitehall has arrived on Lith, the small channel island. The documentation provided by the leak led her and Dr. Shaw there a few hours ago. Her last report stated that if it was a Silurian base, she was going to seek entry, capture a specimen, and return with it to the mainland. She suggested a rendezvous at Small Marshes, since it's in direct line with the island and too isolated to draw too much attention. We've not heard from her since.
Fine. Send a squad down to Sussex. They ought to be there in 3 hours or so. Use the stealth fighter. That ought to stop UNIT or anyone else tracking us.
One more thing, sir. The Glasshouse has been dealt with. We have the WPC here along with Dr. Morley.
Any others?
Alas, sir, Griffin and Atkinson didn't survive the visit.
Did our man leave any evidence?
A few bodies, including Atkinson and Griffin, I'm afraid. Did he make a mistake?
Another one. Yes. Still, killing people is what he's good at. For the most part. I think we'll dispense with his services for a while. Contact him, pay him, thank him, and say we'll be in touch next time he's in the country.
Yes, sir.
Don't you people have any consciences at all? You're treating contract killers and future murderers as if it were a Chinese takeaway.
Do you understand what he's talking about? The man who set up the Glasshouse. The man who has gone to great lengths to lie, steal, and cheat his way through life asks us if we have consciences. No, Sir Marmaduke. We don't possess a conscience of any type because we don't need one.
If that's all, sir, I'd better be going.
Yes, fine. Ciara and Kellyan, go with her, please. The few things I still need, Sir Marmaduke, are units' requisition codes, their secret military wavelengths, and their communications passwords. You see, I have C-19 where I want it. I now own and run the Glasshouse. And so all I need for total control of this country's military espionage departments are those little things. And you are going to tell me.
I don't know anything about UNIT.
You are lying, Sir Marmaduke.
Lying!
That's right. One little tap and I've broken it into places. That's the kind of man I am. Or was. Or will be, even. Can't take a little pain, hey, Marmy? But you're a big army man. Former instructor in the noble art of survival of the fittest. Who's the fittest here, you lump of lard? Me or you? Sorry, old boy. Didn't quite catch that. What? Try again, old sport. Next, it'll be the other hand. Then your feet, your genitals, your neck. Enough to destroy you. Cripple you for life. But not enough to kill you. So why not save yourself all that and tell me what I need to know?
Where am I? What happened?
A projectile from this weapon incapacitated you.
That's a unit service pistol, supplied to C-19 related personnel only. They tried to teach me to use one once, but I flunked out. How did you get it? It's Janna's. It was in her handbag, so how come you've got it?
Your companion had this. She used it on you. She is dead.
How? Why?
She killed our leader. The council killed her. Just after she shot you. Chuck was a good Earth reptile. Even Ball thinks it's sad that he died.
Who's Ball?
He saved your life. He is our scientist.
Maybe we should talk. You are...
Sula, Ball's sister. And he won't discuss science with you. Apes are not capable of being scientists. You do not have the brain capacity to learn enough. You have brains no bigger than raganuts.
And that is very small indeed.
Ball, I presume. My name is Liz Shaw, and I'm a doctor. I gather I must thank you for saving my life.
It was of no consequence. The doctor wanted you to live, so you are now my hostage. It is of no relevance.
Nevertheless, I am grateful. That's a particle disseminator for breaking down DNA and other genetic structures. Why do you have one?
You are a scientist, then.
I always thought so.
I believe that apes ought to be eradicated. You have overrun our planet, destroyed many of our shelters. You have tried to destroy us.
That's not true. The only shelter we've come across was in Derbyshire.
Shelter 873.
Apparently.
Look at this map.
These are your shelters?
Yes. Many were destroyed when the great land masses separated. Some filled with water, drowning the non-aquatic earth reptiles. Others were crushed by tectonic movements. But many have been destroyed by apes testing their nuclear bombs in the oceans, or poisoned by you dumping your waste products into the seas, or burying them in the deserts. One colony awoke about 50 years ago in the Antarctic regions. They left us communiques saying that they had awoken and requesting other shelters to get in touch as soon as they awoke. The last message was about invading apes, destroying their city. That city was probably the last surviving piece of our above-ground architecture, and the apes destroyed it. Your doctor associate has been pledging the ape support for a unified Earth, where we would all live together. He is a fool. You know it, and I know it. Apes will never share their planet any more than we will.
No, you're right. Not yet they won't, but in the years to come they might. If you really want to work towards peace, then you need to plan ahead.
You mean stay hidden? Here? Until the apes have evolved enough to lose their egos and accept cohabitation? Why should we? We have the means to wipe you all out!
No, you haven't. Otherwise you'd have done it. In fact, you know too well that your plague doesn't work. We discovered an antidote. You're bluffing with an empty hand, Baal. What are you really so scared of? I don't think it's we apes, or you wouldn't trust the doctor, or use me as a hostage. Where is he, by the way?
Back on the mainland with Tani. You are to remain here.
As a hostage, yes, your brother said. Now, Baal, Sula, if I'm your prisoner, I'd better work for my keep. What are you really doing in this lab that needs a particle disseminator? Something's wrong with your genetics, isn't it?
Yes, Dr. Shaw. Baal, Tani, myself, and all the other hatchlings here are dying.
Sula, no!
No, Baal. I have had enough of our mother's pride and your inability to have your own thoughts that aren't hers. I am as much in trouble as you or the others. I choose to survive by trusting this ape with the information.
Yes, but what information?
I'll tell you everything.
Chuck is gone. With him, his soft ideas of how to deal with the apes. I say we eradicate them, totally destroy them, and...
Leader! I was on duty in the monitoring section, watching the screens when...
This had better be good, Alex. I don't like being interrupted.
A cruiser has been stolen. Kruger was attacked again. He said it was the ape and...
The doctor! I should have had him slaughtered. Alex, find me Baal. I want him here, no arguments. At last I have the excuse that we needed. Prepare to eradicate that cruiser. Blow it out of the water.
No, Mother, you cannot.
Now let's blast that cruiser out of the water. Every long-range torpedo we have.
Yes, Leader. The doctor is not alone on that cruiser, Mother. Tani is with him.
My daughter, captured by the evil ape, sacrificing her life so that we may all live. How noble.
She is your daughter, Auggi, my sister.
I don't care. Blast that cruiser to atoms.
She's firing on us. My own mother has launched torpedoes at me.
I thought this was a battle cruiser. Can't you fire back?
No. This is a craft designed for short-range maneuvers. The missiles carry are good, but not at that distance.
Where are your short-range missiles?
Over there.
Excuse me, I need to get in that seat.
What are you doing, Ape?
Watch and learn. Hold on very tight. This will hurt.
Clever Ape. Outer hull breached. We're going to be taking on water in a few seconds.
How far to the beach?
A few more seconds and we'll be at the underwater tunnel I created. It's airtight, but you might want to wear our clothing for more.
No time. Get away from those controls.
We're moving blind.
We'll have to swim for it. Is that for the hatches?
It will fill with water in seconds. You'll drown.
Tani, where are you? She's right there. Interesting. I didn't think that gunner made it beyond the drawing board yet. Into the Blackbird, all of you.
I hope you don't mind if I borrow these clothes, old chap. Sorry it took so long, sir.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss your lookout abilities back at the vault.
The apes cannot be warned by my treacherous daughter, and you had better return to your laboratory. I thought you had the stomach for war, Ball, the love of it that you should have inherited from your father.
I want no more part in your madness, mother.
The apes are pathetic. Chuck was wrong. The Triad are wrong. It is our job to start a war with these usurpers. We will attack now, while it is dark. Arm the battle cruisers. Activate the Merca. We'll attack now. Destroy every ape we see and take over this landmass. Once that is ours, their world will soon fall. Within a few hours, this planet will be ours.